Good evening. How are we doing?
Very good. That was a good evening.
It's like steptoe.
Ooh, old. You
Hello,
dirty old man.
you dirty old man. Here we go.
We're
How are
off
we
to a good
doing,
start.
Pete? Happy Thursday.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm looking forward to this. We've got some good stuff to talk about tonight. So, yeah, looking forward.
Yes.
Over the moon to be invited back again. Thank you very much.
Well, you've kind of just taken up the position now, haven't you, really? We've
I
tied you
hear
in.
that a lot. I hear, oh, you've taken the position again. You know what I mean? I hear that.
He's in that position again, better not disturb him. He's loving it. He's only got 652 videos coming out this week, so
Exactly. Yeah,
there
it's a
we
quiet
go.
week. It's a quiet week.
But it's how you been though? Busy?
Yeah, busy, mate, busy. Lots going on. Been streaming a lot lately. So yeah, lots happening. But excited. I've got next weekend. I'm at Liverpool Comic Con, so looking forward to that. That's going to be a nice break.
Good. The chat is buzzing tonight. We've got Yuko Treats. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining. We have some guy called Triple G Comics.
Yeah.
Good evening. We've got Batdan. Evening, sir. Thank you very much. Dr. Von Hooch Comics from Spiral Dimension. Good evening, sir. Panels and a Half Pint Superhero. We have Sean. Thank you very much. YouTube's favourite Heisenberg, Leon Russell. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for joining. Everyone's favourite tennis ball. It's Fuzzy Dunlop. And we have American YouTube royalty, Perry Comics, joining us. Good evening, mate. Hope you are doing it very, very well. And that's what Peter's wife says to Peter. Assume the position. There we go.
Absolutely, yeah.
There we go. Right, so we might. Do you know what? It's been an interesting week for comics. I've got to say, like when we posted the sneak peeks last week, the comics seemed a bit drab. Yeah. If I'm being honest, they did seem a bit drab. It was kind of all Marvel led. There weren't much DC or indie picks out this week. Last week, so we kind of made the best of a bad situation. So there is a change in proceedings tonight because, we couldn't get out to get one of the comics that we needed, but Peter made a better choice. He made an amazing choice, and it kind of ties in with what I see this week and the launch of Peter and James's new show that kind of ties in. If you haven't watched that yet, make sure you head over to it. It's not just a new show, it's a new channel because these guys aren't busy enough. They just thought, we're just launching a new channel, so why not? There we go. Yeah. So, but we've got killer covers, we've got more stuff coming up, more stuff tonight and everything. But first of all, we normally start with the business end of the show. So there we go. I've been looking forward to this because I won last week for the first time in 6 months. So I'm ecstatic to kind of get this going. And Pete, you've become like a regular at this, haven't you?
Yeah, I enjoy it, and I enjoy just having a quick, because even it makes you look at comics you wouldn't necessarily always read. Do you know what I mean? So you're flicking through a whole host of covers, and there are some stunning comics out there. So
there really, really are. The chat's getting buzzing tonight. Dr. Von Hooter said, lost the Slazenger sponsorship. What jumper have you got on this week, Pete?
This is a Hakuna Matata. It's a
there we go. Look at that.
Yeah, I just thought I would, shake things up a little bit. Yeah.
Why not mix it up on a Thursday night? Good evening, Martin. Thank you very much for joining us. Good evening, Phil. Thank you very much. And Fuzzy Dunlop, American Psycho, though. I can't wait to read that when it arrives. Yeah. I have to say, it's one of my favourite all-time films. I think
I love it.
Patrick Bateman, Christian Bale is absolutely sensational, and the cover is great. Although it doesn't feature in the show tonight, Fuzzy, I know you picked that as one of your favourites. So this is Down to Business Killer Covers, October 11th for New Comic Book Day Killer Covers. The vote is already live because I wanted to preempt it. So if you want to get your votes in already, you would have seen all the promos and everything on Instagram on yesterday. But up first, I have gone for this fantastic Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 2, issue number 5. This fantastic variant cover B by Cal Enger of the one and only Ashoka. This for me is great. Cal Enger, I haven't seen much of his work as of late. Normally he's pumping them out left, right, centre. But this for me is amazing. When it's up close and personal, it really does look like an oil painting. It looks really, really great. I like a bit of metallic in my life, and I think who doesn't? If the armour on her or the lightsabers are in metallic, I think it would look sensational. Yeah. But I'm going to sound like a broken record here. This isn't on cardstock. The paper quality is going to be... Absolutely, Tish. So if you want to kind of, the only way to kind of get it so it does look smart, in my opinion, is either get it, put it in a Mylar, or get it and get it CGC.
Get it slabbed. Yeah.
It could be pretty hard to get CGC considering that it's the majority of it's black and the smoke and stuff, so fingerprints and whatnot. But I've gone for this. I thought it was actually quite nice. Peter, what do you think, sir?
I've spoiled it for myself, if I'm honest. So when you first put that up, I thought that's stunning. Amazing image of Ahsoka. I love how the lightsabers are kind of shining in the dark there. It looks stunning. You then said it looks like an oil painting, and it does. But my mind immediately went to the oil painting in Ghostbusters 2. What you call him? Is it Virgo or whatever? Virgo?
Yeah, Virgo.
She's got that kind of look going on. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so I can't see it without seeing that now. But yeah, no, it's stunning. It's stunning, mate. I love the contrasts. I love the black. I love the glowing lightsabers. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Nice one.
Perfect. I'm just looking at the chat, and they're saying this book is the book is absolutely quality. Basic Instinct 2 in a few weeks. Can't wait for that. I'm going to turn the page slowly on that one and then just quickly close it. If you've seen the film, you'll understand the reference to that. Fuzzy Dunlop said the book's quality. Fuzzy Dunlop, I like Basic Instinct 2 mostly because of Sharon Stone's Fuzzy Dunlop. That's what I'm trying to avoid saying, but yes, she does have a Fuzzy Dunlop in that, and I feel very upset for Michael Douglas having to sit through that.
Dreadful.
He was sitting through that, and then he ended up with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
And if anyone's seen Entrapment, where she's going under the lasers, that was very uncomfortable to watch. To be fair, it was. But I digress. So
yeah, I mean, I had to watch it 6 or 7 times just to understand that pain. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, in slow motion sometimes. Yeah.
I was in pain by the end of it.
Yeah.
There we go. So up next, Tom has gone for. Tom is not with us this week. We should have mentioned that. He lives in Cornwall, but as you might have known, we've alluded to the fact that Cornwall is at the arse end of nowhere. Is right out. And for Tom to get to Thought Bubble this year, it was going to take a plane, train, and automobile, featuring John Candy to get all the way over here. John Candy and Steve Martin, and it wouldn't work. Wicked film, isn't it? Such a great film. And he wasn't able to get over to Thought Bubble, but instead he's travelled 6.5 miles to the other end of Cornwall to go on holiday. So enjoy, Tom, enjoy, and I hope you're reading your books and catching up on the show. If you're not watching it, watch it on a rewind. But you have gone for. He's flipped the script a bit on this one because he's gone for Power Rangers Unlimited: A Call to Darkness. This is a trade paperback.
Oh, is that allowed? Is he allowed?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure.
I mean, we could allow it, but if he wins, we could then say it wasn't allowed, couldn't we? You know what I mean?
So yeah, if it does, he wins it. But I like this. I really do like this cover. I've been reading the Power Rangers. Again, I've picked up on it. But yeah, I do like this cover though. It's quite just simple. All the Power Rangers, all the weapons, famous pose. I actually quite like it.
So I'm not a massive Power Rangers fan, I have to be honest. It kind of, I was too old, I think, by the time Power Rangers came out. But I love that cover. I love the way they've all got the weapons on display. Do you know what I mean? They've all lobbed the weapons out, which is great. I just think it looks a bit kind of Avengers Assemble-esque, if you know what I mean. Everybody kind of into the pose position. But yeah, I think it's great. Again, excellent use of darkness, of the black kind of frame and the characters. So yeah, really nice cover again for a trade paperback. Yeah.
For a trade paperback, do you know what I mean? And then up next,
come on, look at that!
Look at this!
Look at it! It's October, so a bit of spookiness going on there. Marvel again, CAC paper, but just that cover of a zombie Spider-Man. I love the kind of the pain and the terror in his eye. He looks, sad. He looks mortified. I love the flesh ripping away from his jaw. I think the spider on his lens is superb. I love that. The spider's kind of crawling out of his mouth and all up the side of his face there. It's all what I like. Gory, kind of zombified stuff. So yeah, I like that one. It
does look really... And do you know what? Last time you did your Art Attack show, Alex Cormack was on, and I think we had to draw a zombified Spider-Man and stuff. And I think I referenced this comic because I'd found it a few weeks prior, and then I found it on the internet, so he was drawing it as a reference, and I tried to reference it. But I have to say, if people in the chat wasn't in the Chat for Peter show on Monday and you haven't watched it on the rewind, please do, because there's some fantastic art in there. It's always a pleasure to take part, and it's always a pleasure to watch as well. And Alex Cormack seems to have this superhero power that within 5 minutes he can create these bloody Van Gogh masterpieces. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Obscene. I mean, it's quite sickening, to be honest. But what I'd heard, Charlie, was that this cover was actually based on your drawing from Art Attack. I think they saw your artwork and thought that's a cracking idea, and did that.
If it is, then that looks like me after a 12-hour shift. that is it. That is it. But yeah, I think this is a fantastic cover. I think this is great, and it is part of the Stormbreakers. So I think a few years ago, Marvel kind of opened up the doors for a Stormbreakers element. I think there's a few others in there. I think Caballo's in there and stuff and everything. So this is I think this is the other take. And Elena Casagrande, this is a fantastic cover for Amazing Spider-Man. It's just a shame that the story's shit.
Well, is it? So the last couple of issues have been pretty good. So they're kind of retelling Craven's Last Hunt, but with I mean, it's dog shit. Don't get us wrong in terms of why he's got this. He's been injected with the Green Goblin's evilness, you know. But the actual comics not being bad. I'm hunting down Craven and kind of besting Craven. It's been quite dark.
Yeah, but how many times can you just old hash the same characters?
Yeah, very true.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, look, we've all got to say, Tom's taking liberties there, Charlie, sort him out.
Yeah.
We'll sort him out. Peter, what a choice, you win. There we go.
Thank you.
Dr. Von Who, I've not ordered that, but I certainly am regretting it. She-Hulk had a Stormbreakers cover also this week. Yeah, so I think there was a few of them. Ivan Corello, he had one, I think, last week or this week before. But that is the vote. You can kind of head over to YouTube now and you can place your votes, and we can kind of see at the end of it. And no one wins anything. It's just we will kind of. It's probably gone back to standard proceedings now, and I'll end up right at the bottom, and that is how we would do it. But as you all know, this is a comic review show. Now you're probably looking at this thinking, well, hold on, I thought we was like going to review the plot holes too. There was even Comixology. We wasn't able to find it on there to read it. I was unfortunately not able to go to the comic shop, and Peter couldn't be asked, quite frankly.
Couldn't be asked.
So on the 11th hour, literally the 11th hour at 7 o'clock, I said to Peter, well, we've got God's #1 to review. Should we stick to the two comics? But like, yeah, let's do that. So he chose The Devil That Wears My Face. Great choice.
Oh, it's tremendous. Tremendous.
Great choice. But up first, we're going to be reviewing this. So this is Marvel God's issue #1, written by Jonathan Hickman, and there's various artists. I think there's about 5 or 6 different artists on this. This came out last week, October the 4th. There's about 9 covers, I think, but the main cover is Matthias Manahani. Fantastic Scotty Young variant cover. We've got a Ijikuri variant cover, and we have the 1 in 25 Mahmoud Azra variant cover. Do you want to take this away, Pete?
Yeah. So this is an interesting one. This totally threw me. I'd seen in Marvel Comics last month, I think it was, that a number of comics had like a 2-pager at the end of them, who are the gods kind of thing. I don't know why this comic is a thing, if I'm honest. So this is basically a new launch of a new kind of mystics, or whatever you want to call them. Each of the main characters is kind of an apostle or works for a god, some kind of deity that I don't think we've really met. So the main character is the kind of the right-hand man of the powers that be, but we don't get any explanation as to what the powers that be are or anything like that. In essence, he's Constantine, isn't he? He's like a Marvel version of Constantine.
He is very much so. Even one of the poses that he does is very Constantine. It's
very, very Constantine. The storyline is basically, I'm not spoiling it for people who are going to read it, but the storyline is basically you're getting introduced to this character who's basically hunting demons, stopping demons, working for the powers that be. Some bloke opens a portal to unleash all kinds of evil onto the world. All the sorcerers in the Marvel universe are gathered together, and you kind of get this guy foiling it by the end. I don't know why it exists, because we've already got a whole host of mystics in Doctor Strange and all that kind of stuff. But I would be lying if I say I didn't enjoy it. It kept us engaged. It kept us turning the page. I'm not sure if it's something I would continue to read ongoing, but I do think it was quite a nice addition to the Marvel universe. The artwork I thought was spot on. I enjoyed the artwork all the way through. It was actually quite funny at times. I loved his sidekick, who's basically a guy who's never looking up from his phone. He's got a magic phone that gives him all kinds of information. I thought he was quite amusing. There were some good one-liners in it. It kept us entertained. I guess it's something new to the Marvel universe. I'm just not sure why we've got it. I mean, you could have done this story with Doctor Strange as the lead character.
Well, this is the thing. So obviously, Doctor Strange features at the start of the comic.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, obviously, this is Jonathan Hickman's return to Marvel for an ongoing comic that he hasn't done in years.
Yeah.
And it also, obviously, as you said, it centers on like a new character, Win, who's like an 1,000-year-old avatar god or whatever and stuff like that. But there were so many references to other Marvel characters. Like that center page, that was like, that looks like Venom.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it, it looks like an oversized Venom. But then if you switch over to the first panel, for me, I just got Court of Owls vibes all through this. Like the way that you've got like a Spider-Man mask in there. But in essence, that was like a Eyes Wide Shut kind of moment.
Yeah.
Where you kind of walk in and you've got these two characters. And if I'm being honest, at the start of it, I thought when the person was in the bar and they were getting a drink, I thought that was Emma Stone.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
I honestly didn't. I'm sitting there thinking, this is Emma Stone.
Emma Frost.
Emma Frost, sorry.
Emma Stone.
Emma Frost.
Could have been Emma Stone.
Definitely Emma Stone. But it was, I thought it was Emma Frost because the way that they'd been, like, she'd been drawn and stuff, sitting there in her sultry silver and everything. I thought, this is Emma Stone. I'm into this. I kind of like her from the X-Men and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get into for me, this was just a knockoff story of Doctor Strange. Like, if you're going to feature Doctor Strange, who's one of the most prominent characters in the Marvel universe, you stick with him. You don't just keep alluding to him and keep showing him now and again. And then Win, as you said, he is the John Constantine of Marvel.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I don't know, as you said, I don't know if I enjoyed it enough to think, I'm going to read this again. I want to pick this up because I know full well that Marvel's just going to keep doing this again. They're just going to bring out G.O.D.S issue number 2 and they're just rehashing more characters. And I do love Marvel comics, but as of late, I just haven't been interested in them.
Yeah.
I think it's just the same. They're not bringing anything new. They're not injecting anything new. It's the same old thing. They've clearly got a market for it.
Yeah.
But it's just not, I don't know.
And I think for me as well, it was typical Jonathan Hickman. There was a lot of references and a lot of dialogue that I just went totally over my head. And I was thinking, am I meant to know who these people are that talk? Like, do you know his wife joins another team?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to know who they are or anything like that? Do you know what I mean? Because they kept talking about them, and I don't know. It's interesting, but is it interesting enough for us to keep buying it? I don't know. I'll probably give the next 2 issues a go. And then make a decision after that, probably.
I mean, I thought it was kind of like 22 to 30 pages too long, if I'm honest.
It was a very long comic.
I think it was like 64 pages. You could have easily split this into 2 comics. You could have read it in 24 and then gone into the next one. But I think Marvel seems to do that. They send out these bumper editions to kind of keep you engaged. And then obviously, like reading this as a 68 issue comic, it's like reading 2 issues anyway.
Yeah.
But sometimes I like reading a trade paperback so I can flick through, but when it's a new issue like this, and I felt like there should have been an issue before this.
Yeah.
I think there should have been like a preluding issue to this, because I was kind of like, as you said, I was like, hold on, am I missing something here? If I missed something on previous issue, and then I had to go back a few pages. By the time I got to the page I was there, I was like, I've lost interest.
Yeah. It is, I couldn't work it out. I know he's been around for a long time, but is he unkillable? Because at one point he gets literally shot in the head, and then the next page it's like a few years later and he's all right, isn't he? So I don't know, does he just not die or?
Well, I don't know. For me, it just seemed a bit complicated because obviously we find out like he's 1,000 years old, and he's been around the block and stuff like that. But obviously, I think because of the Babylon events that feature in it, and some bad things and stuff, and he's what is it? Is it his girlfriend or his wife, Acro or Arco or something? I don't even think she knows if he can survive everything, because she kind of says some things in it, like in the panel on the right hand side. I don't even think she knows if he's dead or alive.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
kind of, I don't know, I really wanted to enjoy this. Like, I had high hope for this, because I was like, oh, is this the Marvel comic that can kind of turn me back to it? I'm looking forward to this.
yeah.
I don't know. I picked this up, I read it, but I don't know if I enjoyed it. But that's the love of comics. You kind of read a shit comic and you think, oh, I'm going to read it again in
Yeah,
case I miss something. And I think this might be one of them.
yeah, yeah. It
But
was nice to see so many characters jumping in and out, and I mean, even when they assemble all the mystics and stuff, you've got all kinds of people there, like Amadeus Cho, you got Doctor Doom, Wong, you know, what you call him? Oh man, Doctor Voodoo was there.
Voodoo Savage.
So yeah, that was nice. You saw the collector at points and stuff, and but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just being a bit miserable because I'm thinking, oh, this is just another new character that I never knew existed, but everybody's talking to him like he's been there forever.
Yeah,
Like Doctor Strange was just talking to him like
yeah.
he's always been around, you know?
Well, effectively, like, Win has become a Doctor Strange clone,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
think about it. And I don't think, if Jonathan Hickman was trying to push that as Win, as this new like, Emperor Supreme, Sorcerer Supreme, sorry, I don't think he did enough to push him to
yeah,
do that. I don't think he kind of give him enough for him to kind of get to the forefront of this. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was good as a one shot. And if they're going to bring out different versions of this, like, I don't know, God's issue 1, like the Sorcerer Supreme and stuff like that, how they
yeah,
do it,
yeah.
maybe I will read it, but I just don't think they
I
pushed it
was,
enough.
I don't know about you, but I was waiting for some kind of twist at the end because the
Yeah.
character design
Hmm.
is very, for me, very similar to Doctor Strange. White hair, goatee, little beard,
Yeah.
and all the rest of it. He wears a big long red coat. I
Yeah.
was wondering if at the end it was going to be revealed it's a younger version of Doctor Strange, or do you know what I mean? Some alternate version or something.
From the mirror dimension or wherever
Yeah,
he's come
something like
from.
that. I did think the bit where he used his rosemary beads as kind of like a light a spinning blade kind of thing was quite cool. But yeah,
Yeah. But there we go. Look, as Martin said, more overpriced Marvel rubbish. They really have literally lost the plot. And
yeah,
I think that's what it is. I think obviously there's going to come a time where Marvel will be like, right, we need to inject some newness. And unfortunately, this wasn't it. I had high hopes for this, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think the artwork was good. The artwork was on point, but I just think the writing. I think Jonathan Hickman's returned, and I think he could have done a little bit better. If I'm honest, I mean, I couldn't write for shit. I'm just saying, like, as a
I mean the more we talk about it, the more I'm thinking of cool points that were in it. So I think probably for me a 7 out of 10. I will pick up the next issue, and then yeah, I'll probably make a decision after that. I'm intrigued, I guess.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think it was the best of a bad bunch this week,
Yeah, yeah, I
if
agree.
we're being honest. But then you flipped it on his head, and I'm so happy you did this. So this is The Devil That Wears My Face, issue number 1 from the darkness of indie comics, Mad Cave Comics.
Yeah,
This is written by Dave Papose and art by the fantastic art and covers
yeah,
by
yeah.
the fantastic Alex Cormack. This came out last week. Main cover is by Alex Cormack, and then cover B is by Man House. Pete, you chose this at 7 o'clock tonight, so I think it's only right that you take this away, because
So, you know, as you mentioned earlier, we had the pleasure of Alex Cormack being on my art show on Monday, and he mentioned this comic. Well, we asked him what he was currently working on, and he talked a little bit about this. And I think it was Fuzzy Dunlop jumped in the chat and said that he'd read it and it was great. So I knew I wanted to read this anyway. This for me is everything I love. It's for me, it's perfection. The artwork by Alex is always stunning. If you like gritty, spooky horror, do you know what I mean? He does. There's nobody better, I think, it does that kind of work. It's basically a kind of an exorcism story, really. It's set a couple of 100 years ago. Yeah, I'll not spoil it for you, Von Hoot.
I will.
Set a couple of 100 years ago. The basic story is some nobleman's son is possessed by a spirit, and this priest is dispatched by the Vatican to go and exorcise the son, basically so that they can get this nobleman on board and he can help fund the coffers of the Vatican and the new Pope. He goes, he meets the demon, it all goes a bit tits up. I'll not spoil it anymore for him because there's some good twists and things in it.
Yeah.
The artwork is graphic and just gritty, and yeah, it for me. I know, Charlie, I know you're a big horror fan. For me, it was like I was reading The Exorcist or one of those
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
horror
Yeah.
books, you know.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I loved everything about it.
I've got to say that I'm so glad you picked this. Is that, like, obviously we was going to review the plot holes too, but this for me ties in. Like last night, I went to see The Exorcist, The Believer, which
Yeah,
you know
the new
what.
one.
And as you mentioned, I love my horrors, and I'm very much of the pastime as like horror films should be watched in the pitch black, in the dark, with no lights on, just the screen watching it. So your senses are heightened, and you can kind of your hairs on the back of your neck stand up and stuff. I watched The Exorcist 1 Tuesday, and I went to see the new one last night. It's a great film. It's a really great film, and the fact that I found out that it's the new one in the start of the trilogy is you can kind of tell by the way the film ends and the way the story progresses that it's set up for a trilogy. But this for me was like reading The Exorcist 1.
Yeah.
It was kind of like reading a screenplay for The Exorcist 1 because the art by Alex is sensational. If you've kind of read, we're going to touch on this later, but if you've read Crimson Cage,
Yeah.
the artwork in that, and we're massive fans of Alex Cormack anyway. Like the artwork that he does, he always delivers what he's looking for. And horror is his clear genre, it's his clear comfort zone. He does it fantastically. This story for me was what I was expecting from a horror comic. Like this was sensational, and I'm going to say to you now, Von Hoot, for the next 2 minutes, if you just want to either put us on mute or just leave and come back, because I'm literally just about to click a button to take you into some of the images from the comic. So if you're reading this now, I would just let you know I'm giving you the 10-second warning.
Before
Just about to click the button.
we put the images up, then I'm going to ask you something. So Von Hoot fingers in ears. The twist at the end, right? The title of the friggin' comic tells you what the twist is going to be. But it absolutely missed. I completely missed that. And at the end, the last couple of pages, I thought, how did I not know that that's what this was going to kind of be about? Do you know what I mean? It was, tremendous.
Do you know? But it is though, right? Because it says the devil that wears my face, so it kind of gives it away. But it doesn't. It's done so superbly and so subtly that you don't think. And until I turned over that last page, I was like, no, I've totally. How have I missed that? How have I actually missed that? So talking about that, right? We're going into it. So obviously, it is the demon. It is the Legion. The Legion, as he refers to, and basically, he's got hold of one of this father's son, and he's in a cell effectively, and every priest has gone in and has been eaten. The demon's killed him, and he's just sitting there thinking, right, bringing another one. It's like they're feeding the demon, and they found this priest that is basically the best at exorcisms, the best at carrying out the exorcisms and stuff. So it kind of all tells the story of him and how he's found and how he's leading up to it in the Vatican and the church and everything like that. But then it transcends into the fact that he goes into this room of thinking he's being able to defeat the Legion, and he can't. He gets caught up in all this shit, and it's just wicked. It's just so everything centers for the last 4 or 5 pages in this cell, and it's just fantastic. And then he kind of halfway through the comic, he's giving what is it called? This has been my last. He hasn't given
like the rights and things.
Yeah, he has. He's sitting down. He's like, this is the last.
Confession. Sorry,
I haven't given my confessions in ages. And he sits down and he says to another father of the Vatican, blah 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 blah. He tells him about this and tells him to go off and do it. And then they literally return to the same scene, and you don't think anything's changed. And he's like, I have a confession. Why do you keep calling me Vieri? And his hand just comes through, grabs him through, and then it switches back to this page, and he's like, please, someone believe me. I am Vieri. Like the devil wears my face. And it was just super. Thank you so much for picking this, Pete, because I'm now hooked in this, and this is going to look wicked as a trade paperback.
Oh yeah. I mean that first panel there. my old eyes and whatnot, but the detail in the priest's
Mm-hmm.
body on the floor with half of his face eaten
Yeah.
and kind of bitten, and it's
Yeah.
just nobody does it better, I think, than Alex Cummock. And even, you know, if you look at the two images you've picked there at either side, how they kind of echo each other, you know, with the
Yes.
arms
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
spread
Yeah.
out, and it's just, yeah, it's just breathtaking. I loved it.
It wasn't amazing. I think, and the way Alex, like his shading, his color work, his panel work, the way he can tell a story. Like if you look there, the panels all merge into one, and it's just a colossal brain fuck. But
Yeah.
it works, and it's sensational, and it's such a good comic. And like when you picked this up, I was like, yes,
I
yes,
tell you what was freaking me out as well, and the images where he's kind of confronting the demon and stuff, and it starts subtly and then it builds and builds, is all the kind of the eyeballs all over the
yes,
place, just kind
yeah.
of in the walls and stuff, and it's just, yeah, freaky.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it kind of got to the point where the demon is literally pulling off of the wall, coming face to face with Father Vieri. And Father Vieri's like literally cut the crap. You knew full well that these chains weren't going to hold you, so cut the crap. And he literally does cut the crap. He cuts him into a load of crap pieces because the chain comes off the wall. But yeah, is this a bi-weekly comic? Did Alex allude to that or?
No, it's not weekly. I don't think. I think it's a mini series. I think it's 4 parts. I think he said.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but it's well worth picking up if you like your horror.
Yeah, definitely. And not a lot of comic shops hold this, so if you do want to get it, kind of like pick it up.
Yeah.
But Martin has said recommended midlife crisis or just midlife.
Had a few of them.
Or how to hero at 50. Great for us oldies who have dreamed of being a superhero.
Whoa! What do you mean oldies? Who's he referring to there? I wouldn't take that, Charlie. He's obviously talking about you.
What do you mean being dreamed of being a superhero? I will be one day. One day. Not all heroes wear capes, Martin. Remember that, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10 because
I think that's
the only reason I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 is because I wanted more from it and it ended too soon.
Yeah.
Where we had to put up with 63 boring pages of gods, we only got 28 pages of the devil. So I think it could have been.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair, and I think, you know, if I'm being critical, it is quite wordy, so I get some people might turn off to that, but I like that. It develops the story, you get the narrative and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I think it builds the tension nicely. So yeah, I think an 8 out of 10 for me is very fair.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm going to echo now. MJF from AEW, so you wrestling fans in there. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing people that he didn't exist, and that is very fitting to this comic, because if you love your horror comics, if you love your demons, if you love your exorcisms and stuff like that, read this. Check out Peter and James's new channel, and then also go and see The Exorcist, because why not?
Yeah.
Well, guns scare yourself shitless. I was saying to Pete before the show went live, not even ashamed to say this, after I came out of the cinema, I checked the boot twice, and I constantly checked the back seat as I was driving home. Not even ashamed to say it, because if I did see something appear in my rearview mirror, I was off. I was gone. The engine would have still been running, and I would have been home. I would have been gone. What's happening? Ain't happening.
We'll have to try and catch up at some point, because one of the things me and James have been talking about for our new horror channel is to go on a camping expedition, 100%. Do a Blair Witch kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Which, you know, I was sitting in the cinema with my brother-in-law, and I turned around to him and said, "Would you do it like a night with me where we go and stay in a haunted house and just do it?" I mean, I don't know how long I would last, and I think the thought of it outweighs the actual excitement of me wanting to do it. Yeah. But I mean, I would love to do it. I just love to do that, because I believe in all that shit. Like I could talk for hours about this. I believe in like all the witchcraft and the Ouija board and the spirits and stuff like that. So I would love to try firsthand for it. I'd love to. Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone in the chat or Pete or you and James want to join me, I'm up for it. You just name a place. I'm there with my ectoplasm ready. Maybe I should start a channel.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Charlie's ectoplasm. Yeah, that'll be it.
Yeah, there we go. Geeky Guy's Gag. There we go. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. Yeah.
Right, so we are. it's that time of the year again. We have 4 weeks until Thought Bubble starts, and obviously, as the show's been going for 3 years now, so obviously fans of the show and yourself, you'd obviously know that it gets to a certain point where we have to highlight the fantastic show that we've got coming up in Harrogate on the 11th to the 13th of November. So what better way than to do... It's back by popular demand. Popular demand. The Road to Thought Bubble for the 3rd season. We're doing this now. Yeah. This is what kind of intrigued me. Like Andy, 2 or 3 years ago, said to me, "You've been going to MCM Comic Con in London. Scrap that. Come to Thought Bubble in Harrogate. It's fantastic. It's so intimate. You get to meet everyone, all these guests. You get to sit down and have a guest. It's fantastic." We're looking forward to it. I must say I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm heading up on the coach with Ed Vick on Friday the 10th, or Friday the 10th. It's a 5-hour coach journey. So we're going to sit there, we're going to drink some beer, we're going to read some comics, and then we're going to meet up with you rebels, and we're going to go out and have some fun. No banana shots.
Oh, lots of banana shots. Okay, chili shots as well, yeah.
Lots of chili. I'm yakking already. There we go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And here we go. Look, Tom has joined us. Oi, looking good, lads. I see you read a horror book. Yeah, we did. We picked that because we knew you weren't here. So we've done that. And then Fuzzy said, not the Thought Bubble music. He loves that music, really. He loves it, really. He does. And as Sean has said, gutted he can't make it this year. That's a shame. We're gutted about that too, Sean. Yeah, but we are on the road to Thought Bubble. So, Pete, as you've accommodated the 3rd space of the Killer Comics show, I thought I would throw it back to you this week. So here's just a little overview of what we're doing this week. So we have John Lees, which we're going to be featuring this week. Then next week we've got Tula Late, who's obviously the founder of Thought Bubble. She's now she's left the hierarchy. She's kind of doing her own thing now, and she's joined Distillery. So she's going to be there in full force with the likes of Ram V and Jock and the rest of the gang. That's going to be very much at the forefront of that. So we'll be looking at her next week. Then on the 26th, we've got Jeff Lemire coming up, who's going to be at Thought Bubble for the first time this year. And also the fantastic Jason Aaron will be featured on the 2nd of the 11th, the week before we go on to Thought Bubble. So with that said, it's over to you, Pete.
Yeah, so John Lees. I mean, anybody that's watched my channel will know I'm a huge fan of John Lees. And I've interviewed him a couple of occasions, yeah. And for me, it's interesting because John Lees, the reason I got to know him and know his work was through Thought Bubble. I'd never heard of him really beforehand. And then I bumbled across his table at the first Thought Bubble convention I went to, recognised one of the books that he sells, he does, and I picked up his entire catalogue. So I picked up all the books he had on sale at that time, and just absolutely fell in love with his writing style. So if you don't know who John is, he's an award-winning comic book writer from up Scotland, best known for a whole host of horror books, which we're going to touch on as we go through, including Glasgow-based Sync, which is phenomenal. And he works an awful lot with the artist we talked about earlier, Alex Cormack. So yeah, he's tremendous. So looking at a few of his books.
And then you can obviously follow him over on Instagram and Twitter as well, or X.
He's very, very active on Twitter. He posts a lot of stuff about, because he's a open air swimmer as well.
Yes.
So he's always swimming around in the different locks and things in Scotland. But yeah. So some of his earlier work, and I have read all of these. So, and then Emily Was Gone is probably his most famous, or the book that got him kind of known in the public. It's a really weird story about kind of this creature that abducts children, and then it goes a bit haywire halfway through the book. It's 4 issues, I think it is. It's got a really interesting, ambiguous ending, and he's been asked a lot about the ending, and he always just says, whatever you think happened, happened.
He does that quite a lot, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I mean, basically, the way the book ends is you're not quite sure whether the child has been saved or not. I'm not going into any more detail. But basically, it could be yes or it could be no. And lots of people have asked him about it, and he always just says, whatever you think happened, happened. which is quite infuriating. But it leaves it open to interpretation, you know.
And is that a run, or is that just a one shot?
It's no, I think it's 3 or 4 issues. I've got it in trade paperback format. The art style isn't for everybody. It's an interesting kind of art, but I thoroughly enjoyed the story. It really is quite odd, and again, it's horror. It's quite gruesome. So yeah, it is good fun. He's kind of his first step into superhero books is The Standard by Comics Tribe, and this is an absolutely brilliant series. I've got the trade paperback again for this. It's quite hard to get a hold of these days because it wasn't a massive print run, but it basically tells a story of a superhero from like the 60s who's your Adam West style superhero, whose sidekick becomes the Standard when he retires and then is murdered. And he comes out of retirement to try and kind of work out what happened. Oh, cool. It's a really interesting story. Again, you see John's kind of love for horror come out in it in some of the scenes. It's also very funny and very heartwarming at times. So if you ever do get the chance to pick up the Standard graphic novel, I really recommend it because it's a good superhero story. Oxymoron is tremendous. This is a weird character, very Deadpool-like, who basically goes around murdering people if he feels that you're doing oxymorons. You're saying things but doing the opposite kind of thing. There's some amazing scenes where he's on a crane with a ball and chain, and he swings the ball into the chief of police's office and squashes him against the wall and stuff like that. Some very clever kills in it. I'd love to see more from that character. But yeah, it's a great series.
And what publisher are these from? They all seem to be from Comic
Yeah, so Tribe? A lot of them are from Comic Tribe, which is a small independent publisher. Quite often, a lot of the books are via Kickstart initially.
Okay.
But yeah, some of them are quite hard to get a hold of. But I think out of the 3 of those, I would recommend, if you like superheroes, go for The Standard. But Oxymoron is a real good read.
And then it says there Alex Cormack, so I assume it was this the first time that they worked together? Yeah.
So Alex worked on Oxymoron with him, and I think that was the first kind of collaboration.
Oh, cool.
We've then got Mountainhead, which is just beyond weird. This is this is again very interesting art style. This is about a young lad who's kind of goes into a small town called Mountainhead, and there's a creature living up in the mountains which has taken over the town and killing the adults and turning them into. It's a bit like The Thing. It kind of inhabits the bodies and things like that. It's really a story about love and about the relationship between the son and his father figure and things like that. Really interesting. Now,
did you ever see a series? I can't remember what it's called, but it sounds like that. There was someone living in the mountain, and it kind of infected these people and became them, and then went on and moved to someone else. It wasn't like the Body Snatchers or something like that.
Oh, right.
I'll have to find it and send it to you because it sounds very much like Mountainhead.
Yeah, I'm not sure of that one. I mean, Mountainhead is I enjoyed it. It's an interesting read with some very gruesome artwork again. Now, this one, and I don't know how you pronounce that. Is that just Quilt or Quilty? I'm not sure.
I think it's Quilt.
Quilt, yeah. This was a one that I've read today, actually, because when I was getting some images for this slideshow, that came up as a free comic that he'd put out a couple of years back for Comic Book Day or something, and I'd never seen it, so I managed to find it, and I've bought a copy off eBay, but I found it online to read. It's just weird. So again, this is by the same art as the guy who did When Emily Was Gone, so it is an interesting art style. It's about a psychologist who's got supernatural powers, so she helps young kids with dream issues, and she goes into the dreams to help them confront fears and things like that. It takes a turn where she goes into this young lad's head, and it turns out that actually his dreams are a portal to creatures from another dimension. And it all goes again tits up. Again, a good, interesting horror story. So I've picked up a copy of that to get him to sign it at Thought Bubble. But yeah, it was a good one. I enjoyed it. Just a short story.
Mm-hmm.
He's done one issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Universe.
Cool.
Again, a great little book. I think he sent Fuzzy, I know Fuzzy in the chat, he sent Fuzzy a copy of that a little while ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's really his first mainstream kind of recognizable
I
character.
would say so. I would
Do you know
say
what I
so.
mean?
Yeah.
But it's a good little story as well. He only did the one issue, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But I think for me, his strength is in horror more than those kind of mainstream characters.
There we go.
Oh, let me get this. And this is what suckered me into Alex Cormack and John's work together. This is Sync. I think we're up to issue 13 or 14 now. It comes out, again, it's by Comics Tribe, so it comes out a bit randomly. It's an anthology series, which is one of my personal favourites. I love anthologies. So each issue is a separate story, but it's all an interconnecting story. Basically about this place in Scotland called Sink, which is the name of the kind of the area. And they're just the freak nutcase characters that live there. So Mr. Dig there is a vigilante who goes around killing people with a spade. You've got the kind of the mob guys there, and there's a whole backstory to them, but they've all got condoms on their heads and they're called knob heads, as you would. So they're all really, really cool. As you can see, it's incredibly graphic. The blue van freaks me out no end. So this is apparently, I talked to John about this, this is based on a children's story he heard when he was younger. So it's a blue van that drives around, and basically in the back of the van are these clowns, and they just stop randomly and abduct you, pull you into the van. They nail a red nose onto you, slice your face open, and then dose you with laughing gas to the point where your mind goes mental and you become one of the clowns.
Wow. So it's quite light-hearted then.
It's light-hearted. It's a romance, you know. I'm saying that. He has... one of my favourite issues is called Love Bug, and it's a romance between these two very normal people who are into a bit of S&M. And someone breaks into the house during the night to try and kill them, and they do things with vibrators and dildos and things like that. And it's just hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So yeah, Sync is tremendous. If you're going to Thought Bubble, please visit John's table and pick up volumes 1 and 2 of Sync, because if you like horror, if you like, you know, graphic imagery, if you like great characters, you'll love Sync. It's amazing.
And I think this is what got me onto John Lee's as well. I think this was, I remember talking to him and Alex Cormack, because I think you was getting a commission done by Alex,
So
and we started talking to them.
Yeah, I got Alex to do, the clowns are my favourite characters, so I got Alex to do a commission. I should have brought it to show you. Of basically, he drew me being pulled into the back of the van with loads of clowns around us pulling us in, and it's just amazing. And Alex's commissions are cheap as chips. I mean, he doesn't charge you anything really for a commission of that standard.
But wasn't that commission done on your fantasy?
Yeah. I'd love a bit of clown work. Yeah.
That was it. There we go. But this, I remember I was standing there talking to John and Alex, and this was when they was talking about it, you could see how excited they was talking about this, because they clearly got a load of enjoyment from this. How fucking messed up they are, but you could clearly see that they'd clearly built a relationship. And they just kind of got each other. And then when I was flicking through the books, like the pages of this, it's horrendous, but there's some sadistically funny parts in it.
Oh, yeah.
And you kind of think, how have you've got to be slightly twisted to think of a story like this, to be able to put it into fruition and then kind of sell it.
Oh, absolutely. I said that to John and Alex when I was interviewing them. I said, there's got to be something not right with you guys.
And they totally agreed with you.
Oh, yeah. Because this is, you know, some of the stuff in this is dark, you know, and weird.
Yeah.
It's tremendous.
But it is great, yeah. So that's Sync.
Oh, and then we'll have Hotel, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Again, following the kind of the anthology series, but with all of the stories interlinking. Hotel Series 1, I would argue, is better than Series 2.
I would say, I'd say that as well.
Each story is just its own little... I mean, I'm a big fan of, I don't know if you remember them, Charlie, things like, you know, Tales of the Unexpected.
Yes. Tales of the Crypt and stuff like that.
That kind of stuff. Yeah. That's what this feels like.
Yeah.
And reading Hotel for the first time, you don't realise until the end of the book all the little things. Like in issue 1, there's someone walking off panel on fire. And you don't,
Sorry, they do things with vibrators and dildos and things like
they
that. It's
absolutely
hilarious.
do. Absolutely do, yeah.
That's the Saturday at Thought Bubble. Just let you know.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're back to Charlie's ectoplasm, aren't we? Yeah. So
Called Geeky
hotels,
Guys Gack, actually.
geeky guys, gack. Yeah, get that on a t-shirt.
Not
It's just a
literally,
great series. Oh, God. Yeah, well worth a read if you like horror and you like ghoulies. That's wrong.
But
as
again,
well,
this
isn't
is. And I'm the one drinking beer.
it? Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Look, it's, as soon as things go
Oi,
to
oi.
shit, he arrives. Look, the governor's here. Good
boss.
evening, Ad. How you doing, mate? But yeah, Hotel was great. Like when I was reading it, I think it was season 2, where there's a family, and I think it's the son and the daughter going to the woods,
Yeah.
and the shit it's just so freaky, and you can't help, like there's this page in it where you're like, oh, do I actually want to turn over the page? But you can't help it. I mean, I think in that middle panel, we've all been there. I've got 3 boys, and I've woken up middle of the night, and there's one of them screaming at me, and I'm like, nah, I didn't sign up for this.
There's a scene in Hotel Series 1, I think it's issue 2 or 3, where the husband and a wife are having an argument, and one of them hits the other with an axe, and they swing it up, and Alex's artwork is phenomenal.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
axe hits the bottom, and the face hits the ceiling. It just slices. It's just, yeah, I love it. I love it.
But it's like going back to your show when he was on Monday. You or James will literally give a sentence. You'll give a paragraph of what you're expecting him to draw, or what you're expecting everyone to draw, what for us all to draw. But his mind must work overtime, because what he portrays, like you posted it on your Instagram, so if you're not following, go and have a look. His Frankenstein that he drew in 5 minutes is sensational.
Yeah.
And you think, when he's given this much time to do how many issues and stuff of comics,
Yeah. It's scary. It's scarily good.
Quite scary. It is quite scary. So that was Hotel. I wouldn't want to stay there though. If
No,
I'm
me
being
neither.
honest.
Me neither. Well, we could live show. Could you imagine? Think of the content. Do you know what I mean? We could stream live from the hotel.
While getting your neck cut off with an
Yeah.
axe. Why not? So talking about hotels, we're going over to this. We mentioned this. We alluded to this at the start of the show. Sensational.
Yeah, probably. I think the work he's hit the big time with. I think this is, AWA Upshot, so a superb publisher. Get some great books, AWA. This is Crimson Cage, retelling of Macbeth with art by, again, Alex Cormack. And it is just sensational. I think, I'm not a wrestling fan, as you know, but the last couple of years we've been blessed by some superb wrestling books. This, Do a Powerbomb, this has got Alex's typical superb artwork. It's got John's gory madness. There are a couple of scenes that are absolutely stomach churning, but it's a beautiful, beautiful story, and it's so intelligent in how they've written Macbeth into a wrestling comic. You know, if you've not read this, I really do recommend picking up the trade paperback, because it is sensational.
Now, I've noticed that, obviously, so you've got John Lees' writing, you've got Alex Cormack. Now, Ashley Cormack, is that Alex Cormack's wife?
Yeah.
And was she the letterer?
I think she might have been the, I can't remember what her role in the book was, but she's got an art studio and an art shop. I think she did the lettering or something.
I'm just going to Google that, Crimson Cage, and let's see.
Yeah.
So the Crimson Cage by, so what's the lettering?
Yeah.
But this for me, like and I know James Comic Deal was massively into this. The way that they kind of included Shakespeare into this is sensational. I would honestly go as far to say that it was a writing masterclass.
Yeah.
But the way that they portrayed this, the art that they included in this, and the story that they told in the way that they told it, with the graphical content and the narrative and the character development and everything in it, it's as gory as hell.
Yeah.
But it is so enjoyable from the first page to the end page. There's nothing but enjoyability throughout this comic. You kind of see the highs and the low of the main character, and the way that it ends is so patriotic to the character and the whole story. I just enjoyed it, and I picked every single issue up of this, and I got the trade paperback as well.
And it's an interesting one. So again, when I was chatting with them, the this the lengths that John went to with Alex, because Alex isn't a big wrestler,
Mhm.
but John obviously is, and the lengths he went to in terms of describing how he wanted the moves to be portrayed, because he wanted it to be as realistic to wrestling as he possibly could get it. And I would just say that image on the first cover there with the main character kind of turning and looking at you. Check out John's Instagram page, because that was his Halloween costume last year, and it is phenomenal. He's got
Yeah.
the hair, he's got the sideburns, the tash. It's brilliant, absolutely
I
brilliant.
think I've seen that. And
Yeah.
and what Dr. Von Hoots, so me, the Doctor, James Comic Deal, Fuzzy Dunlop, we're all in, and Phil's Nerdiverse, we're all in a wrestling group chat, and we talk wrestling. I would say I talk to these guys, plus you and Tom, more than I talk to my wife. And I absolutely love it. And Doctor's just said, do you not think there might be something to this wrestling lark, considering that the fact that all the best books last year were based on wrestling?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say, like, so obviously last week we looked at the past and present of Daniel Warren Johnson,
Yeah.
who very publicly came out and said he attends AEW wrestling every week, loves watching it, and it was them that kind of gave him the kick up the arse, or the chokeslam, shall we say, to do a powerbomb. They were very influential. Like his love of wrestling and watching the indie wrestling scene, growing up watching wrestling, was very much his getting clause to write a wrestling book. And if you haven't read Do a Powerbomb, I'm sidetracking now, read it, because it's fantastic.
So here's the thing, right? I might be being negative about wrestling, because you've got to remember the last time I watched wrestling was probably when I was 13 or 14, and it was Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan and all that kind of stuff. You and Von Hoot, give us something to watch, and I'll watch it, and then we'll talk about it on one of our shows, and I'll see what I thought of it.
I would say, I don't know, Von Hoot might have something to say, but I would say watch AEW, Britt Baker, right? Her lights out match is sensational. Is absolutely sensational. It's literally a non-sanctioned match, no holds barred. Give it a watch, because it's fantastic. It's women. It's the women of AEW wrestling.
Okay.
But for me, if you used to watch like likes of Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, you would have watched WCW Nitro with like NWO and stuff like that. AEW is very much like that. It's still keeping hold of the indie content and stuff. It's not as big as WWE, WWE at the moment, but it's more enjoyable. And it's really, really good. So if you kind of want to watch that, and then I think if Doctor wants to put something in the chat for you to watch as well, you can watch that, and you can let me know.
Will do.
There we go. Crimson Cage.
Okay. Okay.
I'm glad you started like that, because I was going to do that.
Yeah. So let us just say, John Lee, I love you. I love his work. Absolutely love his work. And this is his latest book, and it's a passion project. Cheers, Phil. It's a passion project. It's a love song to horror movies, to video nasties. It's basically about this group who are trying to create their own horror movie, and it's linked in with this young lad's what do you want to call, childhood imaginary friend, who somehow becomes real and can kill them, but then they get better. So as soon as they stop recording, he kind of gets better. I'm being a bit fluffy, because I have to be honest, I've not read the last 2 issues.
You're a very fluffy person.
Yeah, I'm very, very fluffy. I'm going to be honest, this isn't floating my boat as much as some of John's other work, and I don't know if, for me, it's because I'm that used to seeing John work with Alex McCormack and that gritty art style.
This is exactly what we said.
It just looks too... I mean, you've got hearts being pulled out there, but it still just doesn't look right. Do you know what I mean?
We said that. I think you might have actually been on one of the shows.
Yeah, I think we did.
It, and we said the writing's good in it, but if the art was done by Alex Cormack,
yeah, it would be sensible.
This is up there with one of the best stories, because the way it includes all the horror films, and it includes the likes of The Ring, where you put a video in, you watch it, and then you've got like 10 days to make someone else watch the video before they die and stuff like that. Yeah. The whole premise of this works, and the whole premise of this wanting to be a horror story about horror genres and including everything for it is amazing. But it's kind of like it's a a horror channel premise with a Cartoon Network
Yeah,
artistic
yeah,
vibe. If
absolutely.
that's and I was so shocked because I was really looking forward to this, and then as soon as you turn over the page, you're like, really?
Yeah, yeah.
So it
Yeah,
was.
so I've stopped reading this, if I'm honest. I'm hoping by the time Thought Bubble comes around, it might be out in trade paperback, and I'll pick a copy up if John's got one there. Um, but yeah, it's not my favourite of his work, and I think that's down to the artwork, if I'm honest.
Mhm.
No disrespect to the artist, it's great art.
Yeah.
It just for me doesn't fit what I associate John with in my head, if that makes sense.
The artwork reminded me of Bob's Burgers,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
TV show, like that.
Yeah.
Leon Russell has just said, last time I watched wrestling, it was Giant Haystacks
Oh,
versus Big
Big
Daddy,
Daddy.
with my
Yeah,
granddad laughing his arse off from his Shackleton's comfy chair.
yeah.
So you are clear. So Arnold, Leon Russell, 67 years old. I did not know he was that old. Well done, well done. But yeah, there's some great matches out there. Big Daddy was a boy. So that's the nasty. And there we go.
So that's my little rundown of John. Like I say, he's always at Thought Bubble. He's always got a big table full of his different books and things like that. So please do say hello to him. Say the Killer Comics Show sent you. He'll sign all your books there for you free of charge. And he's just a lovely guy to chat with. So yeah, please do have a bit of a chat with him. If you want to know more about John, I do have a couple of videos on my channel. More recently, I did an episode of This Is My with John, where he showed off some of his collectibles and talked to her about his favourite horror movies and his favourite things. So please do go and check that out.
But I'm glad you mentioned them previous videos that you've done with John, because he's so down to earth,
Yeah.
and he's such a likable character, and even in person,
Yeah.
he's a likable character. So if you do get the chance, if you are going to Thought Bubble, you do get the chance to sit and talk to him. He's so engaging. He'll happily sit and talk to you for hours.
Yeah.
Just don't mention that you don't like the artwork in nasty.
Yeah.
There we go. So, with that said, that was Pete. That was great. Thank you for a great introduction to the road to Thought Bubble. I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait. It's become my highlight of the year. To be fair,
Well, it's a thing, I mean, my wife was talking about this earlier with us. Now it's slightly different this year because I'm going somewhere else on the Friday night.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, I know. But she said to us, she goes, "You've booked the Sunday night as well." I says, "Yeah. She goes, "What? So that's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday for a comic convention?" I says, "I'm not going for a comic convention. I'm
Good
going
at match
for
your wife."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I says, "I'm going for geeky guy." Going, yeah. No, I says it's just become a highlight of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Next year it'll be a week or a fortnight. We'll probably need to book off.
Yeah. Honestly, it really does. I look forward to, because it's your, how many birthdays do you have in November, Pete?
Four birthdays.
Four. We're still waiting for your birthday cake from last year.
Tim's still waiting for his Chinese, bless him.
But it is. But it is great. It's such a, and I think I can't stress enough how much of a great Comic Con it is, because it is relatively small compared to like New York Comic Con, Los Angeles Comic Con, and MCM Comic Con in London. It's tiny, but where it's so small, you get to spend more time with the likes of Jock, with the likes of Tudor, with the likes of Ram V and Al Ewing. You kind of spend that time, and you could walk into Nando's down the road, and you can kind of bump into them.
Yeah.
And it's really good, and it's so enjoyable, and you can it's just a wicked event. So this is why I like it. This is my favourite time of the year. People look forward to Christmas and birthdays. I look forward to Thought Bubble and having banana shots, which I'm not looking forward to this year. But hey ho.
Well, I'll be missing, like I say, I'll be missing the Friday night, so we'll have to do double on the Saturday to make up for it, surely.
Begrudgingly, just preparing my gullet there.
I'm trying to. Here's a little bit of. I'm trying. I don't know if I'll be successful, but I'm trying to get some of those super sour balls that are doing the rounds at the moment.
Well,
to do when we're there.
I've kind of I'm trying to get an order in as well. Then the black ones.
Yeah.
And me and Pete, right? We found a new love for Lilo chip.
Yeah.
So if none of you, if you've got a Facebook, head over to the Life of Lilo Chip. This guy is getting some stick at the moment because he's about 45, isn't he? And he uses a filter, and he does these videos as a, what is he? Is he a middle-aged man from? He's like a brummie, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he just does these videos, and he's done like the sour gherkin video, and he's just so inappropriate. Sorry, but he's fantastic. And I sent Pete these videos, and he was like, "Me and my son have literally just watched every single video he has. He's so enjoyable.
Yeah.
He's hilarious." So yeah, it's the what is it? The life is it the life of Leo Chip or
Leo
the struggles
Chip,
of
yeah.
Leo
Yeah.
Chip? Fantastic. But yeah, if we can get one of them, and then I'll see if we can get the one chip challenge, and we should literally just do a video.
We'll decimate spoons, won't we?
Go for it, and everything else. So yes, that is it. This is my John Lee's. This was fantastic. Thank you so much, Pete, for that. So that's the Road to Thought Bubble. Next week we will have Too Little Tay. But now we've got the final order cut-off, top three. So obviously I say this every week, final order cut-off, blah, 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 blah. The FOC is the orders that must be placed before 9 o'clock on a Sunday with Slab Crusaders. Otherwise you may not end up getting your comic, or they will be cancelled. So up first, I've gone for this.
Cool.
I've gone for this, right, because one, I love this comic. I love the cover. And two, I love how much you love your figures.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching your videos and how much you collect and stuff, and you're so passionate about it. So Batman 139 by DC Comics. This is the cover E, the Bane, Todd McFarlane Toys action figure variant. And this is obviously one of the most famous scenes where Bane gets the upper hand of Batman, and it is the breaking of the bat, and he breaks his back. This is amazing. I really hope they keep it like this and don't over logo it, because this would look, if you was able to get, and my aim for this is to get this cover and get them two figures.
Yeah, I'm looking at this and you're doing me head in, Charlie, because I'm thinking now I need to get those two figures.
That's what amazing. That's exactly what I'm planning, and I want to kind of get that with that behind, with the figures doing it.
Yeah,
well, doing that. I mean, that would look wicked.
Yeah.
So I'm very much like, and that Bane figure looks awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. Really, really does. So yeah, so I'm going to.
He looks a bit like me actually when I've got my hoodie off. To be honest, that's how I look.
He does. He does. Yeah. Mm. Batman.
First I beat you, then I break you.
I'll get you, Batman. I will break your back.
Let's do the rest of the show as being.
Why not?
Yes.
Not quite sure. This could go on. Anyway, moving on. We've got yeah. Is that the noise it's making?
Oh, look at it, man! Look at it! It's. Do you know what? I bet the story is absolute wolf shit. See what I did there? See what I did? I bet it is. But do you know what? Those covers are absolutely amazing. The entire series covers are stunning. You know. Yeah. I'll probably, you know, I'm a bit like you, Charlie. I do quite a few buys purely for cover buys of comics I'm probably never going to open, just to stick on the wall behind us. I think I'm going to pick up all of these Cap Wolf covers just because I just love the image of it. I think it looks amazing.
Well, if you follow Ryan Brown on Facebook and Instagram, he again, like Harla Cohen, does like actual paintwork. And this is one of them. And I think it was, where was it? I think it was on his Facebook where we showed the progress pictures for this. So every Friday or every couple of weeks, he'll say, this week I'm painting a dog. And then it'll transcend into this and stuff. It's just amazing. Like the natural artwork instead of all being digital is fantastic. And Ryan Brown, he was on one of the Killer Comic shows years ago.
Oh, right.
And it was wicked. So if you want to like head back to Yonder's Past, I mean, I sound like I'm 75. Yonder's Past.
Do you know what?
Why not, man? Head back there, watch it. But it was really good to watch him, like how he understood and how he got into it and stuff like that. But this is, I think the comic's going to be wolf shit, but it's a great cover to have.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Von Hoot's saying in the chat there that apparently it's a decent story. So I might pick this up I'll probably pick it up for cover buys, and then I'll buy the trade paperback, because it's only 4 parts or 5 or 6 parts or something. So I'll probably pick this up as a trade paperback to have a bit of a readie of.
And you know what, with Halloween coming out and stuff like that, I think this is kind of a new character. I'm fed up, as we mentioned at the start of the show, I'm fed up of reading the old characters of Marvel. I want something new, and this could be it. So yeah, Catwolf and the Howling Commandos.
Just looking at these images you've said there now, I'm looking at. Yeah. I wonder if he does commissioned work, because I mean that's.
Do you know? I think you could easily reach out to him and find out. I mean, he's very active on Facebook, and he replies and he responds and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's fantastic. And then I've gone for this. Ooh. Now, I mentioned earlier There's I was mentioning earlier about the show that there's like an entity that takes you over and stuff like that. It was called The Outsiders, and it was obviously it's
All right.
written by Stephen King, and it was a 2-season show that was on. I think it was on HBO or one of them, but it's a great show. It's a really good.
Not
It's
heard of
about
that
an
one.
check it out. Honestly, check it out. It's wicked. And if you do get to watch it, just head over and watch it because it's great. But this one is The Deviant. So this is from Image Comics, and the main cover is by Joss Hickson. This is a Christmas story told by James Tynan and Joshua Hickson, and it's
Okay.
the letterers are by Hassan Osman Etui. He's the one that kind of done Chicken Devil.
Oh,
Chicken
I
Devil
love Chicken Devil. Yeah.
Chicken Devil put him on the map. But this story, the premise of this looks horrendous. Like murders are committed, Santa's arrested, and it just looks bloody awesome. And there's about 2 or 3 variant covers out for this, and it's sensational. And I love the way that they've kind of crossed it in with Christmas and Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That
yeah,
sounds
so
interesting.
very, very much so. Yes, that's the Deviant issue number 1. So that's your FOC feel for the week. Moving on to the killer indie picks of October 18th. Now, up first, we've got Sirens of the City, issue number 4, written by Joanne Starrer, art by Kerry Randolph. Have you been reading this, Pete?
I read the first issue, and then I'm behind on my reading, to be honest, so I haven't read them since. I enjoyed the first issue. I did enjoy the first issue.
I thought the first issue, to be fair, was quite confusing, so I have to agree with you on that. The second issue really picked up again. Third issue picked up, and then looking forward to this one. It's different. I give
Yeah.
Boom Studios that, and Boom Studios, to be fair, as of late, haven't been as active as they were for the last couple of years. I think they obviously had the likes of like Berserker and stuff like that they was kind of getting on, but this one, it's a grower, not a shower, as they say in the business. I'm not sure what business, but that's what they say.
It sounds a bit of a dodgy business, that one.
It's a Boom Studio. There we go. And then we've got this Hack Slash Back to School issue number 1. So this is written by Zoe Thorogood, who obviously done some fantastic novels like Rain, for instance, and the art is done by Zoe Thorogood as well. She's a fantastic writer. She's a really, really good writer. She's really good at art and stuff, and she's going to be at Thought Bubble this year as well. But this looks wicked, and basically, as it says from the creators of It's Lonely at the Centre of the Earth, this is a story that I don't think if you haven't picked it up already yet, I would highly recommend trying to pick this up because I think it's going to fly off the shelves, and I think it's going to be one that goes under the radar.
I've never read any Hack Slash, but I've always been intrigued by it because it looks up my street. But I've never managed to grab an issue, so I'll have to try. Maybe if this is a decent starting point, I might pick this one up.
Definitely go for it. And then we have, last but not least, I've stayed on the horror vibe, and we've gone Bite-Sized Tales of Terror. Don't actually know much about this. I kind of went on the kind of Blair Witch skull vibe of this for Halloween.
Do you think it might be Tales of Terror, but like bite-sized, like small tales?
Maybe. I mean, yeah.
I reckon it'll be an anthology. The cover straight away to buy for me. It looks.
Yeah.
I love that image.
It's Blair Witch all day long, isn't it? It is Blair Witch all day long. It is very, very much so. But yeah, I think I'm looking forward to that. And there we go. Look, Bantan. Zoe is at Thought Bubble. Yes, she is, and she's always very engaging to talk to and stuff like that. So she's it's wicked, and she always, the person that she's always with always has these amazing masks on. So if you do get a chance, I got some commissions off her last year and some artwork and stuff. And it was very decently priced for the time and effort that she puts into it. It was fantastically priced. So
Excellent.
It's the time for the end of the show. Now, I won last week. Very excited about that. I'm just going to say I actually won last week. But this week, as I said, normal progress. It's back to normal again. So in third place, it's me with the Mandalorian 2, Season 2, issue number 5 with Cal and Goo with 22%. In second place is Peter with the Amazing Spider-Man 35 Casa Grande variant cover. and with 33%, and then Tom with 44% of the votes with the Power Rangers Unlimited trade paperback.
Wow.
He's won. But the funny thing is, there was 36 votes. I'm not sure how that happened. We only had like 16 people in. So unless I know what YouTube's doing. It's doubling. Because we're not at 1,000 subscribers yet. It's trying to help us get there.
That's nice of it.
So
it's a very YouTube is known for being thoughtful and nice. So yeah,
it is. And talking about that, if you don't know how thoughtful and nice YouTube is, head over to Triple G's Comics' YouTube channel, and you can see the process and the prolonged agony that it goes through to try and get monetized. And
shower of bastards. That's all.
And if you're watching YouTube, that's code for you are the most wonderful people. Help us get monetized.
Yeah.
But yes. So Tom, you won. Good luck for you. Well
Congrats,
done.
Tom.
Congrats. But we said at the start of the show there was a caveat, and we did actually say at the start of the show that because you chose a trade paperback and it's killer covers, rules are rules. So Pete, you are second in line. So well done. Well done, Pete.
I'll take it.
You won. You won that. Well done. So, but up next, obviously, we have the Killer Comic Show. We have our Instagram channel. You can follow us over at the Killer Comic Show, and then on Twitter, it's Killer Comic Show. You can find me over on Instagram at Geeky Guy Comics. I think after 2 years of losing my account, I finally got it back. And then you can find me over on Twitter as well. Tom is Not Quite Mint, and then Instagram as well. He has TomMailing_PT. And then we've also added some guy called Triple G. I don't know how he's added that. I don't know how he swayed that. But yeah, we've got Triple G_comics. What do you do on your channel? Your Instagram is hilarious.
Oh, thank you. Not intentionally.
No, I mean it's more ad hoc than your YouTube career.
Yeah, it's because I just have brain faults. Do you know what I mean? I just whatever happens, comes into my head. I go, oh, I'll do that. Yeah, so. Yeah.
That'd be that Geeky Guy gag. You should lay off that.
It does stuff with your head. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, especially when you're washing in it. Yeah.
Anyway, this is the Killer Comic Show sneak peek for next week. So the 4 comics we will be reviewing next week are the Cole issue number 4. We've been reading that. Pretty good. Hopefully it gets better. Yeah. We've got Batman City of Madness. This is written by Christian Ward, who did... He did an array of comics. They was fantastic. I think that was NotQuiteMint.com's biggest sellers on there. We've got Jeff Lemire, Fishflies issue number 2, and we have.
Is it just issue 2? I thought it feels like that's been ages since issue 1.
You'd think it was issue 55 the way that it's gone on, but I mean, no disrespect to Jeff Lemire, but it's probably going to get to issue 5. It's going to drop off a bit, and then it's probably going to pick up in issue 7 or 8, and it should have ended at issue number 5, but hey ho. And then we have Simon Kudranski's Something Epic, which has not stopped being epic. Excuse the pun. So these 4 comics will be up on the vote on the community channel on YouTube at around 11 o'clock tonight. So place your votes, and then we'll announce it on Monday, and then those will be the 2 comics that we review. So, also, in addition to this, myself and the lovely man below me, it was the same as I said below.
My favourite position.
Below me. I'm just trying to find that comment that someone said at the start. Peter, there we go. His favourite position, assume to the position. There we go. But it was the same as last year. Myself, Tom, and Andy, and also Peter. We got contacted by Catamundi trading cards, hero trading cards for season 3 that came out. It's that time again where we've been contacted. Season 4 is coming out, and we have been lucky enough to be sent these fantastic trading card packs. Now, these are what are they, Pete? Would you say they're NFTs?
You can use them as NFTs. I don't. I personally don't. So I mean, they're just a nice trading card set, but you can scan them in. The app is tremendous. You scan them in and you load them onto your phone and things like that. I don't really understand the whole NFT world, if I'm honest. So I haven't delved into that. I just use them as trading cards, really.
But I mean, I'm really liking them. Like, I'm kind of quite active on the app and stuff, and we kind of got to get these shiny cards in these like these holders and stuff like that. So we're going to be doing a few giveaways with some of the cards that we've been sent, and we've got a video going live this weekend that kind of delves into like what you can do with the cards. I think I've got a slide for this as well. You can kind of you can join a community, discover iconic artwork, complete daily activities, and connect with other fans. But on the video that we'll be doing on the Killer Comic Show, we'll be looking into how to use the app, benefits of using the app, how to sell on the app, how to buy physical cards, and what the benefits are of actually like doing this, the hybrid trading game and stuff like that. I think it's going to be, it's very up and coming. And as I said, from season 3, we were very lucky enough to receive in abundance quite a few cards and give away some on the show and stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And thank you, massive shout out to Hero, Zavi, and also DC for selecting us to take part in chapter 4. Looking forward to it. And I think that's it. I think are we at the end of the show now? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're done. We're done. So yeah, but you've got a video. You've got a video of the hero cards going up, haven't you?
Yeah. I'll be. I think my video goes out probably tomorrow afternoon, and then I'll be giving away some on my show tomorrow night with Efren, and probably Saturday night as well. Because they send quite a chunk of stuff as well, so it's really kind of
they do.
really.
Yeah, they do. And it's I'm looking forward to it because. And they're very well made as well. Like, I'm not going to lie, they are very, very well made. You can kind of, and the way I'll allude to this into the other video, but they're kind of graded. So as you can see there, it says like mint and stuff, and these are like some of the shiny ones. But yeah, it's another gimmick that is going to send me down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But Pete, thank you so much for tonight, mate. Honestly, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. I think. Just to repay you when we get to Thought Bubble, I'll have to buy you a couple of banana shots.
Nice. Thank you.
A couple of chili shots, and why not?
Good stuff. Looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
Yes, fun. Looking forward to it. And I also forgot, what have you got coming up on your show? I've got a. That's the biggest lie I've ever heard. He's probably got a video coming out in about the next hour.
Yeah. One an hour, yeah. So I've got a video out today where I've looked back at some of my favourite Batman villains. Tomorrow night I'm live with Efren looking at some comic books that are coming out 2 months' time. Saturday I'll have my usual Saturday night live show. Monday we're doing top 3 comic book stories. So quite a bit, and I've got 2 videos a week usually.
And then for your horror show, is that that horror channel, is that once a month or once a week?
Yeah, no. So mine and James's new horror show, One Good Scare Show over on good old YouTube. Every Friday there'll be content, so it'll go alternate Fridays. There'll be a live show one Friday, which is looking at geeky horror news, reviews, things like that. And then the next Friday, so tomorrow night, we'll do kind of it's kind of a podcast thing where we've watched a movie and then we'll talk about it, but it's not us on screen, it'll be images of the movie. So tomorrow night it's Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th movie we'll be talking about, and there's whole loads of shorts and things like that are going out as well, all horror based stuff.
Cool. Well, as I mentioned, thank you very much for joining us. You've become like part of the show now. You signed that contract. You got it back to me. It's all been signed. The NDA's been signed, so you're not going anywhere now. But yeah, it's been always a pleasure having you on the channel. And
Appreciate it.
Enjoy your weekend. Thank you to every single person that joins us in the chat. Unfortunately, Tom's vote and comic win this week has been vetoed. So Pete, you are the you are the winner of Killer Covers of the Week for this week, so well done to that. I'll get nothing in the post to you because you don't win nothing.
Good.
But yeah, enjoy the comics that you're reading, and make sure you do check out Peter's channel and also the rest of the videos on the Killer Comic Show as well. And we shall see you same time, same place next week. Have a good weekend, everyone. See you later.
Bye.